Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! In the basement of a modest 2-story house, 4 young men huddled around a battered coffee table, their faces illuminated by the soft light of a nearby lamp. The air was thick with anticipation as they exchanged nervous glances.
"All right, fellas,"
Mike said, running a hand through his shaggy brown hair.
"We've talked about this for weeks. Are we really going to do it?"
Tom, the tallest of the group, nodded solemnly. "I'm in if you guys are. We've been friends since forever. If we can't trust each other with this, who can we trust?" Chris, always the joker, cracked a grin. "Well, I didn't raid my sister's closet for nothing. Let's get this show on the road." The final member of their quartet, Ryan, remained silent for a moment. His blue eyes darted from face to face before he finally spoke.
"Okay, but we need some ground rules."
Mike leaned forward, elbows on his knees.
"Shoot." "First,"
Ryan said, holding up a finger.
"What happens in the basement stays in the basement. No pictures, no gossip. Nothing leaves this room."
The others nodded in agreement.
"Second,"
he continued,
"no judgment. We're all in this together, right?"
"Right," the group echoed.
"And third,"
Ryan finished,
"we take this seriously. It's not just about dressing up.
It's about understanding ourselves and each other better." A moment of silence followed as the weight of Ryan's words sank in. Then, one by one, they began to smile.
"I like it,"
Mike said.
"We need a name, though. Something cool."
Chris snapped his fingers.
"I've got it. The Girly Pact."
Tom raised an eyebrow.
"The Girly Pact? Seriously?"
"Hey, it fits," Chris defended.
"We're making a pact, and we're gonna be girly. Simple."
Mike chuckled.
"The Girly Pact it is. Now who's going first?"
After a brief round of rock, paper, scissors, Tom found himself standing in the center of the room, a bundle of clothes clutched to his chest. The others watched with a mixture of curiosity and encouragement as he disappeared into the small bathroom adjoining the basement. Minutes ticked by, punctuated only by the occasional muffled curse or rustle of fabric. Finally, the door creaked open, and Tom stepped out. The transformation was striking. Gone was the tall, broad-shouldered young man in baggy jeans and a t-shirt. In his place stood a figure in a flowing sundress, the pale yellow fabric complementing Tom's fair skin. A long, brunette wig cascaded over his shoulders, and a touch of lipstick added a hint of color to his face. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Chris let out a low whistle.
"Damn, Tom. You make a pretty good-looking girl."
Tom's cheeks flushed red, but a small smile played at the corners of his mouth.
"Thanks, I think. It feels different, but not in a bad way."
Mike stood up, circling Tom with an appraising eye.
"The dress suits you. Where'd you get it?"
"Thrift store," Tom admitted. "Told the cashier it was for a costume party." Ryan nodded approvingly.
"Smart.
We should probably all use that excuse if we need to buy stuff." As the night wore on, each of the friends took their turn. Mike emerged in a sleek black skirt and blouse, his usual confident swagger slightly tempered by the unfamiliar click of heels. Chris opted for a more casual look with leggings and an oversized sweater, while Ryan surprised everyone with a vintage-inspired outfit, complete with petticoat and pearls. They laughed, they complimented each other, and most importantly, they talked. As the initial awkwardness faded, conversations flowed more freely than ever before, They discussed their fears, their insecurities, and the pressures they felt as young men in society.
You know,
Mike said, carefully applying a coat of nail polish.
I never realized how much effort goes into all this. It's kind of amazing what women do every day.
Chris nodded, adjusting his wig.
Yeah, and it's not just the physical stuff. It's like, there's this whole other world of expectations and experiences we never even think about.
As the first rays of dawn began to peek through the basement windows, the four friends stood before a full-length mirror, marveling at their reflections. They were still unmistakably themselves, yet somehow different. Softer around the edges, perhaps, or simply more open.
So,
Tom said, breaking the silence.
Same time next week?
The response was unanimous. The Girly Pact had officially begun. Over the following weeks, their meetings became a cherished ritual. Each Saturday night, they would gather in Mike's basement, transforming it into a safe haven where they could explore and express themselves freely. As their confidence grew, so did their skills. YouTube tutorials became their Bible, teaching them the intricacies of makeup application and the secrets of walking in heels. They scoured thrift stores and online marketplaces for clothes, building up impressive wardrobes that reflected their individual styles. Mike, ever the overachiever, threw himself into mastering the art of contouring, spending hours perfecting the illusion of softer features. Tom discovered a talent for hairstyling, his nimble fingers crafting intricate braids and updos. Chris, with his eye for fashion, became the group's unofficial stylist, mixing and matching outfits with flair. And Ryan, quiet and observant, developed a knack for the subtle details, the right accessories, the perfect scent, the way to carry oneself with grace. But it wasn't just about the external changes. As they continued to meet and talk, they found themselves opening up in ways they never had before. Conversations that might have seemed impossible in their day-to-day lives flowed naturally in the safety of their sanctuary. One night, as they sat cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by a chaos of makeup palettes and hair accessories, Ryan cleared his throat.
Can I tell you guys something?
He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The others paused in their activities, sensing the seriousness in his tone.
Of course,
Mike said, reaching out to squeeze Ryan's hand.
You can tell us anything.
Ryan took a deep breath, his eyes fixed on the carpet.
I think I might be transgender.
The silence that followed was heavy but not uncomfortable. It was Tom who spoke first, his voice gentle.
How long have you known? I'm not sure,
Ryan admitted.
I've always felt different, but I didn't have the words for it. Being part of this, it's helped me understand myself better.
Chris scooted closer, wrapping an arm around Ryan's shoulders.
We're here for you, no matter what. That's what the Pact is all about, right?
Mike nodded firmly.
Absolutely. Whatever you need, we've got your back.
Tears welled up in Ryan's eyes, but he was smiling.
Thanks, guys.
I was so scared to say it out loud, but it feels right. Like I can finally be myself. The group enveloped Ryan in a tight hug, their makeup smearing and wigs askew, but none of them cared. In that moment, the true meaning of their pact crystallized. It wasn't just about dressing up or exploring gender expression. It was about unconditional support, acceptance, and love. As the weeks turned into months, the Girly Pact evolved. What had started as a secret, after-hours activity began to seep into their daily lives in subtle ways. Mike found himself more attuned to the experiences of the women around him, standing up to casual sexism in ways he might have overlooked before. Tom's newfound confidence in his appearance translated into a more assertive presence at work, earning him a promotion he'd long deserved but never pushed for. Chris, inspired by his explorations with fashion, decided to pursue a degree in design, much to the surprise of his sports-obsessed family. And Ryan, with the unwavering support of his friends, began the process of transitioning, taking the first tentative steps towards living as her true self. Their Saturday night meetings remained sacrosanct, but they also started to find ways to incorporate their experiences into the wider world. They volunteered at a local women's shelter, gaining a deeper understanding of the challenges faced by women in their community. They attended drag shows, marveling at the artistry and self-expression on display. One crisp autumn evening, as they prepared for their weekly gathering, Mike made an announcement.
"I've been thinking,"
he said, carefully applying mascara.
"Maybe it's time we took this show on the road."
The others looked at him quizzically.
"What do you mean?"
Tom asked, pausing in the act of zipping up a floral dress. Mike set down the mascara wand and turned to face his friends.
"I mean, maybe we should go out, like, in public, as our female selves."
A nervous energy filled the room. They'd discussed this possibility before, but always as a distant, someday kind of thing. Chris was the first to respond, a mischievous glint in his eye.
"I'm in. Where should we go?" "There's a new cafe that opened downtown," Ryan suggested. "It's supposed to be really inclusive and LGBTQ friendly."
Tom hesitated.
"I don't know, guys. What if someone recognizes us?"
Mike placed a reassuring hand on Tom's shoulder.
"Then they recognize us. We're not doing anything wrong. We're just being ourselves."
After some discussion and a fair amount of nervous laughter, they agreed. They would go to the cafe the following weekend, stepping out into the world as their feminine alter egos for the first time. The week leading up to their outing was filled with both excitement and trepidation. They spent hours planning their outfits, practicing their makeup, and rehearsing their feminine voices. Ryan, having the most experience presenting as female in public, offered tips and encouragement. When Saturday finally arrived, they gathered at Mike's house as usual, but the atmosphere was charged with nervous energy. They took extra care with their appearances, each wanting to look their absolute best for this momentous occasion. Mike chose a sophisticated black dress paired with red heels, his long blonde wig styled into elegant waves. Tom opted for a more casual look with skinny jeans and a flowy top, his brunette locks pulled back into a messy bun. Chris went all out with a vibrant floral jumpsuit and platform sandals, while Ryan looked radiant in a simple sundress and cardigan. As they stood before the mirror, making final adjustments, Mike raised his hand for a high five. "All right, ladies, let's do this." The walk to the cafe was nerve-wracking. Every passing car, every pedestrian on the sidewalk seemed to be staring at them. But as they continued on, heads held high, they realized that most people barely gave them a second glance. The cafe was bustling when they arrived, filled with the chatter of patrons and the hiss of espresso machines. They found a table in the corner, ordered their drinks, and settled in. At first, conversation was stilted, their usual easy banter hampered by self-consciousness. But as the minutes ticked by and nothing catastrophic happened, they began to relax. They people-watched, giggling over shared observations. They discussed their hopes and dreams, their fears and insecurities, and for the first time, they did it all while being true to themselves in public. As they were finishing their second round of lattes, a young woman approached their table. For a moment, they tensed, fearing confrontation. Instead, she smiled warmly. I just wanted to say, she said, you all look amazing. It's so great to see people being true to themselves. The compliment, so freely given, brought tears to their eyes. They thanked her, their voices choked with emotion. As they left the cafe, walking arm in arm down the street, they felt a sense of liberation they'd never experienced before. They were seen, accepted, even celebrated for who they truly were. That night, back in the safety of Mike's basement, they reflected on their adventure.
I can't believe we actually did it,
Tom said, still sounding a bit awestruck. Chris grinned. I know! Did you see the way that barista was checking you out, Tom? I think someone has an admirer. They laughed, the tension of the day finally dissipating.
You know,
Mike said thoughtfully,
I think this is just the beginning. We've come so far already, but there's still so much to explore, so much to learn.
Ryan nodded, her eyes shining. And we'll do it together. That's what the Girly Pact is all about, right? As they exchanged smiles, they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them as a united front. The Girly Pact had started as a secret, a way to explore and express themselves in private. But it had become so much more, a bond of friendship, a journey of self-discovery, and a promise to support each other through anything life might throw their way. In the years that followed, the members of the Girly Pact continued to grow and evolve, both individually and as a group. Their experiences had opened their eyes to the complexities of gender and identity, and they became passionate advocates for understanding and acceptance in their community. Mike, with his natural leadership skills, started a support group for individuals exploring their gender identity. He found purpose in helping others navigate the same journey he and his friends had embarked upon. Tom, once the most hesitant of the group, discovered a love for drag performance. His alter ego, Tamantha, became a regular fixture at local clubs, wowing audiences with her stunning looks and killer dance moves. Chris pursued his passion for fashion, launching a gender-neutral clothing line that celebrated diversity and self-expression. His designs quickly gained a following, praised for their inclusivity and style. And Ryan, with the unwavering support of her chosen family, completed her transition. She became an outspoken activist for transgender rights, using her own experiences to educate and inspire others. Through it all, their bond remained unbreakable. They still met regularly, though their gatherings now extended beyond Mike's basement. They celebrated each other's successes, supported each other through hardships, and continued to explore the ever-expanding landscape of gender and identity together. One warm summer evening, years after that first nervous meeting in the basement, the four friends found themselves back where it all began. They sat in a circle on the floor, surrounded by memories and mementos of their journey.
Can you believe it's been 10 years?
Chris mused, idly twirling a lock of his wig. Tom shook his head, a fond smile on his face.
Sometimes it feels like yesterday. Other times, it's like we've lived a lifetime since then.
We kind of have, Ryan said softly.
Look at how much we've all changed, how much we've grown.
Mike raised his glass in a toast.
To the Girly Pact,
he said.
May we never stop growing, never stop learning, and never forget the power of friendship and self-acceptance.
As their glasses clinked together, they knew that whatever the future held, they would face it as they always had, together, with open hearts and the courage to be true to themselves. The Girly Pact had started as a secret, a daring experiment born out of curiosity and a desire for self-expression. But it had become so much more, a lifeline, a family, and a testament to the transformative power of acceptance and love. In each other, they had found the strength to be their authentic selves, to challenge societal norms, and to create a world where everyone could feel free to express their true identity. As the night wore on, filled with laughter, tears, and shared memories, they reaffirmed their commitment to each other and to the ideals that had brought them together. The Girly Pact was more than just a name. It was a promise, a way of life, and a shining example of the beauty that can blossom when people are free to be themselves. And as they looked to the future, they knew that their journey was far from over. There would be new challenges to face, new horizons to explore, and new ways to grow. But with the strength of their bond and the lessons they had learned, they were ready for whatever lay ahead. The Girly Pact had changed their lives, and through their actions and advocacy, it had begun to change the world around them. It was a legacy they would continue to build upon, one day at a time, always remembering that fateful night when 4 friends dared to be different and found themselves in the process. As the first light of dawn began to filter through the basement windows, casting a warm glow over the 4 friends, they shared a moment of silent understanding. The Girly Pact was not just about dressing up or exploring gender. It was about the courage to be vulnerable, the strength found in unity, and the transformative power of unconditional acceptance. They had started this journey as individuals seeking to understand themselves better, but they had become a family, bound by experiences that went far beyond the surface level of clothes and makeup. Each of them had been changed profoundly by their shared exploration, gaining insights not just into gender and identity, but into the very nature of friendship, love, and self-acceptance. As they prepared to leave the basement, each lost in their own thoughts about how far they had come, Mike paused at the bottom of the stairs. He turned to face his friends, his expression serious but filled with warmth.
"You know,"
he said softly,
"I never could have imagined where this would lead us when we first started, but I wouldn't change a single moment of it."
The others nodded in agreement, their eyes shining with emotion.
"We've faced our fears,"
Tom added,
"questioned everything we thought we knew about ourselves, and come out stronger for it."
Chris grinned, throwing an arm around Tom's shoulders.
"And we've looked fabulous doing it."
They laughed, the sound echoing in the familiar space that had been witness to so much growth and change. Ryan, who had been quiet, spoke up. "I don't know where I'd be without you all," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You gave me the courage to be who I truly am. You've been my rock, my family." Without a word, they came together in a group hug, holding each other tight. In that embrace was years of shared experiences, challenges overcome, and a love that transcended conventional boundaries. As they finally broke apart, wiping away tears and straightening their clothes, they knew that while this chapter of their journey might be closing, the story of the Girly Pact was far from over. They would continue to grow, to challenge themselves and society's expectations, and to support each other through whatever life might bring. They climbed the stairs together, stepping out of the basement and into the bright morning sunlight. As they squinted against the glare, they saw not just the familiar suburban street, but a world of possibilities stretching out before them. The Girly Pact had started in secret, in the safe confines of a basement, but its impact had rippled out far beyond those walls. It had changed them, and through them, it had begun to change the world around them. As they walked away from Mike's house, they carried with them not just memories, but a mission, to continue spreading the message of acceptance, understanding, and the courage to be oneself. And as they went their separate ways that morning, each heading back to their own lives, they knew that they would always carry a piece of the Girly Pact with them. It was more than a secret club now. It was a part of who they were, a testament to the power of friendship, acceptance, and the bravery it takes to be true to oneself. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting long shadows behind them as they walked. But for the members of the Girly Pact, the future had never looked brighter. They had found themselves, found each other, and in doing so, had discovered a strength they never knew they possessed. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them as they had faced everything else, together, with open hearts and the unwavering support of true friendship. And so, as they parted ways that morning, it wasn't an ending, but a new beginning. The Girly Pact lived on, not just in their regular meetings or their shared experiences, but in every life they touched, every mind they opened, and every heart they inspired to be true to itself. Their journey had only just begun, and the world was waiting to be changed, one act of courage and acceptance at a time.
Thanks for watching, my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!